What the hell is going on? I thought we dealt with this like several months ago. It's still a problem. Support players and SR gains in competitive appears to be an issue to this day. Now, it looks like there was a recent culprit, and that was changes to the On Fire system, but the fact that we are still evidently dealing with this problem of support players in competitive play getting less SR than their damage dealing and tank counterparts is a pretty big deal. I've been seeing a lot of reports come up over the past few days on the forums, on Reddit, and I even asked people on Twitter. I said, hey, you know, people are saying that this might be happening. What's your experience been? And I got pretty much a unanimous, overwhelming yes, that this is an issue. It is happening. So let me break down what's taking place if you haven't heard so far. A lot of support players, and this includes people playing at the higher level. We're seeing reports from Grandmasters players, top 500 players, saying that for a win, they'll get anywhere between maybe 15 and 20 SR, but losses are giving them between maybe 20 and 30 SR. Well, the net result of this is they have to win significantly more games than they lose in order to keep climbing. People are saying they're playing for an afternoon, they're winning 5 games, they're losing 1 or 2, and they're staying basically at the same rating because they lose so much more than they gain. Now, of course, the one thing that we don't have is the information of those matches. You know, maybe the teams that they beat were worse than them, so it makes sense that they didn't get as much SR, but they also lost to teams that were much worse than them, so they lose a lot more SR. We don't have all the facts, but the fact that there are so many reports of support players specifically dealing with this issue, and here's the crux. We'll have people who play with their friends, and match after match, as a Mercy main or Ana or Lucio, match after match, they're getting much less SR for wins than their damage dealing friends, their damage dealing counterparts, and therein lies the issue. Now, you might ask yourself, if you're not fully aware of how the system works, how could this be happening? Well, it's happening because of the fact that still to this day, the rating system in Overwatch accounts for individual gameplay. It accounts for your performance in a match. It uses various metrics such as the number of kills, the number of deaths, how much damage you did, your time on the objective, etc., etc. A lot of those things that you see in the scorecards at the end of the match are used to determine how you played compared to other people who played that hero. So if you're playing Soldier, the number of kills and deaths that you get in a certain match based on the match's duration is directly compared to how all the other soldiers in similar situations played. And if you did better or worse than the average, you'll gain more or less SR. And the same thing, of course, is applying to supports. But there have been instances in the past, evidently. We've seen this. I mean, I can't believe we're talking about this again. Of course, you could just not make the damn video, but I'm talking about it again because everyone's talking about it again. This is something that's in the community's mind right now. It's something that people believe is an issue, and what the community believes is a pretty big deal. Let us not forget that not too long ago, Jeff Kaplan himself said that in many situations, the community perception of, say, a hero's balance is almost more important than the actual situation, how balanced the hero might actually be based on the numbers, the evidence, the data that they have. If the community perceives someone as overpowered, that's almost more important than whether or not the character is actually legitimately overpowered. And the same thing could be said here. There is an obvious community perception based on everything that I've seen, the question that I asked on Twitter, the responses that I got, all of these forum posts, all of these Reddit posts, there's a perception that there's an SR imbalance for supports. I guess the thing is, this could be solved so incredibly easily. I'll give you, you know, get a pen and paper, jot this down. Don't account for individual performance. If you win a game, you gain 25 SR. If you lose a game, you lose 25 SR. Plain and simple. Go home, everyone. I've done balance in Overwatch. We figured it all out. Jokes aside, though, that would remedy all of this. And trust me, I understand the argument in the opposite direction. But I am forced to play with a team, and if my team sucks and I carry them, I should gain more SR than they do. And I agree. In a perfect world, in an ideal world, if we could have this algorithm that perfectly accounted for every single time how much you benefited the team, how much you helped the team, what your performance was based on your teammates and based on all other people who played the same hero that you did, then that would be great. But it's been quite obvious, the fact that this is like the fucking third or fourth video of us talking about supports getting screwed for SR gains points to evidence that there might not be a perfect algorithm, a perfect equation, especially for support players. So again, the theory at the moment is that due to the changes to the on-fire mechanic and supports evidently not getting as much on-fire time as a lot of their damage dealing or tank counterparts, this is the correlation to what the current issue is of right now in this moment, support players, by and large, getting less SR than their damage-dealing teammates. There might be outliers and variants. You know, you might play a game as Mercy and your friend's a Tracer and you gain more SR than they do. That could just mean that the Tracer player played incredibly poorly. But then that goes back to the notion that whether you're the one carrying the team or not, the end goal is to win the match. And if you win the match, if your team can pull it together enough, maybe you pulled more than they did, but if as a unit you can pull together enough to get a win, everyone deserves credit for that win, and maybe the credit should be spread out equally. I think that that would alleviate a lot of these issues, a lot of these concerns, and at the very least, this continuous, repeated now community perception that these support players are getting screwed. And I think a really frustrating thing that's come out of this that I've started to see is this idea from some people in the community that support players don't deserve as much SR. Well, support players don't really do much work. We gotta babysit them the whole match because they can barely defend themselves, and all they do is heal us up. Most of them don't require hardly any aim, so, you know, support players shouldn't get as much SR. But listen, bud, you can't do that. Because if you want people healing your ass as you're climbing the ranks faster than they are because of your SR gains being more than theirs, you need them to climb up with you. Otherwise, you'll be playing in matches with 0 healers, and it doesn't really work out for the team that doesn't have the healer. So it's important. The healers do have a vitally important job, and maybe they don't require amazing precision like that of a McCree or a Widowmaker, but it doesn't make their job in this team-based and team-focused game any less valuable, and we should reward them just as well. So whether it's flaws in the system as to how the Blizzard is determining who deserves how much SR, or whether we should just go to a flat SR gain and loss system, which, mind you, works in plenty of other games that have good skilled matchmaking ratings and skill ratings. I believe Dota does exactly that. You get a flat amount of gain or loss depending on whether you win or lose. It obviously works for successful competitive games, so I don't know why it couldn't work here. All right, everybody, that's gonna do it for me here today. I wanna know what you guys think. I also want to hear whether or not you have experienced this. Do you actually feel this is an issue, or is it being overblown by the community? And at which point, why the fuck did I make this video? I don't know, whatever. I'm just trying to do something here. I don't know. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a good one. Until next time, I'll see you later. Oh, a happy Easter if you celebrate it as well. I'm going to eat a bunch of junk food. Why do I do this?